Thank you all for coming today. Welcome to The Pillars. We are a community-led space aimed at supporting projects and educating our investors through intelligent, meaningful conversation. Here we ask the tough questions you all want answered. Now, let me introduce to you someone that I would already consider an OG, because the last time we spoke to him is already like something like a year ago, maybe even over a year. So they get the badge of OG from me, the potato personally. It's OliverT from One Token, and today we're talking about 4 token and also about 2 and 3 tokens. So we got basically a quadruple Yanny today. We're talking about a whole ecosystem that is surrounding the 1 token that has been around already, as I said, quite a long time. And as a little summary of what it does is that 1 token is creating an ecosystem with additional tokens to it, with 2, 3, and 4. Everything feeds each other. So it's an ecosystem where it doesn't matter where you participate, you get some benefits, but everything, of course, leading into the 1 token. And yeah, I'm happy to have you on. As you also can see to the audience, we have a $75 giveaway. Which is very gracious, not gracious, which is very generous, that's the word. But as you know, in order to be eligible for the giveaway, you have to jump into the 4 token Discord and of course have listened to this. Otherwise, you also wouldn't hear me say this. But yeah, that's enough rambling from me. I hope everyone enjoys. Again, thank you all for coming, and I'm off the stage.
Thank you, David. Appreciate that introduction.
Thank you very much, David. Great introduction indeed. Oliver, it's been a while. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
I am great. Thank you very much for asking. I'm very excited for this conversation. As David said, it's been a while since we spoke to you, and a lot has happened since we spoke. You guys have added a bunch of new stuff to your ecosystem. Now, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people that already know 1 token. They know who you guys are. There might be some in here who have never heard of you before. So before we kind of get cracking on your ecosystem and what the tokens are all about, and then eventually talking about 4 token, would you mind giving a brief overview as to yourself and how you found yourself dabbling in DeFi?
Yeah, sure. I got into crypto probably 3 years ago now, and quickly found myself in DeFi. I just skipped right past all the stuff that was on Coinbase, and managed to figure out how to buy and sell stuff on PancakeSwap, and that led me to a community that was centered around Seifu, and just got to know a lot of people in that community. Made a lot of friends there, and I started making YouTube videos for that specific project, and long story short, the creator turned out to be a bad person, and he scammed all of us. But I did retain a lot of friendships in that community, and it led me to create a token that I thought that community would really like, because I knew that community very well. I'd been making YouTube videos for them for the past, I don't know, year or so up to that point, and I'd gotten to know a lot of them. And so I made 1 token, because I knew that the community wanted a token that had a low supply, that was deflationary, that had a low tax. I'd learned all this from just kind of studying the Seifu community and seeing what was happening with that at the time. And so that's how 1 token was created. It had a 1 million supply, a 1% tax. Hold on a second. And that 1% tax both burned the supply and built up the liquidity. And it's been doing that since we created it a year ago now. I think we're very close to the 1-year anniversary now of 1 token. It's been working exactly as designed. The community loved it when we first launched. We had a lot of success with it. And since then, I've added on 2 new team members, Lucky and Yanny, and they've helped me to develop 2 more tokens, 2 and 3 token, and well, now 4 tokens. So 3 tokens they've helped me to develop. So
great. That's great. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was some journey. We're not going to get into those days because we've spoken about that ad nauseum, so we're going to skip right past all of the unpleasantries of the safe era and get straight into your ecosystem. I think. Can you explain a little bit about what? I mean, you've already said it's deflationary, it's low taxes, and it was, you know, by a community member for the community. But what is it inherently that one token does?
What does it do? Well, apologize. There's a guy driving by the motorcycle. So, what does it do? It's mainly a store of value token for our ecosystem. So just as Bitcoin has a lot of value because, I mean, obviously because it's Bitcoin, a lot of people trust it, but also because it has a limited supply. This token has a very limited supply. Supply is slowly being burned down, and we have built all these other tokens around one token to feed into it to push that price up over time.
Right, great. And I already see someone commenting, in fact, one of your co-creators of 2 and 3 token and now 4 token. I see him commenting that you own part of another protocol. Is that right? So does one token own part of another protocol?
Yes, we do. We own 2% of Prisma and 2 or 3% of Prosperity Truth Coalition as well. I mean, we're invested in those projects.
Right. And how do they feed into one token, if at all, at the moment? How is the ecosystem set up so that those investments can directly ensure they benefit the holders of your one token?
Well, they're both passive income projects, and so over time they're going to be bringing a lot of revenue to our ecosystem. Prisma right now is about to launch their V2 token. So as soon as that happens, there's going to be a lot of things involved with that. They're going to have like token vaults that people can store their Prisma tokens in and be paid out in whatever token vault they put their Prisma tokens in. So if you put your Prisma tokens like in, say, a 1 token vault, you're going to get your rewards in 1 token. And it's going to be a monthly reward type deal. They have bot trading and also liquidity farming and some other things that they do to get those passive rewards to people each month. And we're going to have 1, 2, well, we're going to have 1, 3, and 4 token vaults. I'm not sure about a 2 token vault just yet. We're working on that. But so that'll be one thing. And then another thing we have with Prisma is we put out the Prisma 1 NFT with them. And that is as well bot trading. And the income that comes from that is going to be compounded for 2 years before we start doing payments, and then the payments will be once yearly and will be compounding each year. So those payments will get pretty big a few years down the line, and that's just going to continue into perpetuity. And the 1 token treasury has a lot of those NFTs, so
Right.
that will be bringing a lot of revenue as well.
Okay, so I mean, 1 token, it sounds like with the partnerships that you set up, 1 token is very much designed as a long-term play. It was something I noted in your Git book, is that you're talking about a 4, 5, 6 year plan. So you guys are much thinking far into the future with this particular token. So now talk to me about 2 token, because we want to get all the way to 4 token, which you guys call the GOAT. Talk to me about 2 token and what that is for your ecosystem.
Yeah, so 2 token is a very low supply token as well. That was kind of the theme we had with 1 token, so we kept it going with 2 token. It's 2 token only has 80,000 tokens in total, and it has a 2% tax on buys and sells, and it is only paired with 1 token. And so to get 2 token, you have to buy 1 token and then swap it for your 2. And right now the conversion rate for every 2 token is last I checked, it was like 17 1 tokens, something like that, 16 or 17. So it started out at about 3 or 4. For a long time, it was only worth 3 or 4 1 tokens. So it's gone up significantly since then. But it has a much lower supply than 1 token, so it could potentially get to being worth a lot of 1 tokens. And we created that token because we had put out an NFT line, the 1 token NFT line, and we wanted to add a passive revenue aspect to that NFT, and so that was one of the main reasons we wanted to create Two Token, because half of the taxes that go to Two Token actually get sent to the NFT holders, to those One Token NFT holders.
Right, understood. Okay, and Three Token.
So Three Token is another low supply token. It started out with a 333,000 token supply. 33,000 of those tokens are in the treasury, and we actually burned 204,000 of those tokens at one time. So there's actually only, I think it's 129,000. Hold on, let me think. 300. It's something like that. There's about 120,000 tokens in circulation left. And Three Token was created to pump up the other tokens. So there's a 10% tax on Three Token on buys and sells, and all of those taxes are used to pump up the other tokens. So it was kind of created to raise the tide and lift all ships.
Understood. Now, before we get on to Four Token, which is obviously the man of the hour and the reason why we're here, it sounds to me like both Two and Three Tokens were created inherently to support One Token, and a lot of their taxes are designed to move across there. I mean, as you say, you're wanting to have a tide that rises all ships with Three Token, and that was very much to pump up the others. How or what pushback do you give to anybody that might come to you and say, hey, look, this sounds very much like it's heavily Ponzinomic related, because of course you are effectively trying to get new volume in, new money in, that is designed to pay the old money that's been holding with One. And what kind of pushback do you give to that?
That we're working on a lot of passive revenue sources. That's been one of our main focuses ever since Lucky and Yanny joined. That was their first order of business, was to start setting up passive revenue sources. So that was when we made our investment in Prisma. We made our investment in Prosperity Truth Coalition. Since then, we have invested in a gold trading bot. And then with the Prisma One NFTs, that's going to be a big source of passive revenue for us in the coming years. And we're just always trying to work that angle, bringing more passive revenue sources into the ecosystem to get to the point eventually where we literally don't even need volume anymore on our tokens, and we can just feed money into the ecosystem and have that be creating all the price action and a lot of the volume.
And in terms of your plan, like I said, I know that you have a 5-year plan, and I'm very curious to know what your thoughts on Prisma are in terms of, I haven't really looked an awful lot into them, although I did do some diving to prep myself for this conversation. But I'm curious to hear your opinion on what you believe their strengths are, because it sounds to me that a lot of this is based on partly that particular relationship with them, and you're hoping that that does well. Of course, what you then are needing from them is for them to succeed. What kind of expertise do you believe they bring to the table that's really going to make them front runners with this, especially when it comes to something like bot trading, which, over the last few months in particular, it has been notorious for seeing people that are bot trading, for the most part, not everybody, but for the most part, fall by the wayside of it.
Yeah, so absolutely. There are a lot of risks in bot trading, and the strength of the Prisma team is they all come from financial backgrounds first off, but they are also extremely risk averse. They go as low risk as possible, as conservative as possible with their settings for the bot. They have tailored this bot to be able to deal with practically any black swan event. We had one recently when Ethereum just went up for like a month straight without coming back down. Like nobody saw that coming. It came out of nowhere. This bot trades only Ethereum, and they were stuck in a short for an extended period of time as a result of that. But with the conservative settings that they have on this bot, they were actually able to get out of that short with a lot of profit. They opened up a long to what's the word? I forget the word, but they opened up a long, and it made up for any loss that they saw in the short, and they actually got out of that trade with quite a lot of profit. I don't remember the exact percentage for that profit, but that month was like a 30% month. So they
Okay.
and these are with extremely conservative settings. They've seen some ridiculous profits some months.
Great. So short term, their track record is very positive. Are they already talking to you about long term and how the market might have changed due to, for example, the Bitcoin ETFs being approved, the potential of Ethereum ETFs being approved, and what they believe that might do to their trading and therefore what it might do to your ecosystem? Are the conversations transparent enough that you guys can prepare well in advance?
With the Prisma team, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, we talk to them every day. They pretty much the like a potential Ethereum ETF. It's not really anything that is it would make a humongous difference for the way that they trade. They just need volatility for the bot to work. So um, if Ethereum tends to have a lot of volatility. I mean, it tends to have a decent amount of small changes in price, and that's all they need. So that's why they
Okay.
chose Ethereum. They couldn't have the same settings with something like XRP, because sometimes XRP will go up like 80% in a day. So they couldn't bot trade something like that. That'd be a little too risky for their liking.
Okay. Well, as long as they're risk averse, that's a very good and positive attribute to have, and certainly something that I'm certain your holders and potential future holders are going to like to hear. So, a lot of the ecosystem, of course, is volume based. I'm already seeing that Mike is in a bit of a breakdown in terms of how he likes to play the system and how he views the system. And he says we accumulate one, we swing trade two to get more of one, we pump three to kick back to one, and holding four gets us B and B from the taxes, which feels like a good time to get you to touch on what four and the four token is going to be doing. I know you guys like to call it the GOAT. I know it's community driven. Everything that you guys are doing is for the community and with the community very much in mind. And one of your community members, a guy who's been there actually since the start, insisted you name it, and you named it the GOAT. So talk to me about this GOAT token.
Yeah, so it's a passive revenue token. It pays out BNB as the reward. So it is a reflection token, but it's not like other reflection tokens that pay you like in the native token. It's paying you in BNB. So what that means is it has a tax on it, and those taxes are converted to BNB on a regular basis and then sent out to holders. And the the supply of the token is 4 million, so it's a low supply. We made it low to encourage volume, because with a low supply, we could see maybe some more price action. And then there's a 14% tax on buys and sells, and 100% of those taxes get converted to BNB and sent out to holders. And one problem with one potential problem with reflection tokens is that when the contract sells the taxes to get the BNB or whatever it's paired with, it can produce a red candle. Well, we've written this, or we had Cyril design it in such a way that it sells the tokens often enough that it creates a very small effect on the price. In fact, he's told us whenever the contract sells, whenever it reaches its sell threshold, it will actually only affect the price 0.4%, so less than 0.5%. And to get to that, there was most likely some buying, so it will be barely noticeable whenever the contract does that. And it also means that it'll be sending out rewards often because the threshold is very low.
And it's launching on PinkSale, I believe. Does that mean it's still 100% of a fair launch? Is there going to be a team allocation? How does the taxes work, for example, when it comes to pre-sale? How is all of that working with you guys?
Yes, so we are in pre-sale. I think we're at about 57 BNB last I checked, and our hard cap is 100 BNB. So I have a feeling we're going to hit that hard cap before the end of the pre-sale. If by chance we didn't hit that hard cap, then the end of the pre-sale is April 12th. The benefit of buying in pre-sale is you get the rock bottom price of 4 cents per token. I don't think it'll stay at 4 cents after we launch. And also you don't pay taxes when you buy in PinkSale. So you get a very low price and no taxes. So dual
Okay.
benefit there.
When
And
you guys heard about this particular code, and when Cyril brought this to you, because I'm assuming he brought an idea to you, I'm going to assume he said, look, I think this is going to be really good for the ecosystem. There must have been some influence that was taken from previous projects, because there's some of the mechanisms that I see that's within 4 that has been seen elsewhere. Were you guys aware of that, and how much of a conversation was happening around how did those tokens perform, where did they fail, and how did you mitigate against perhaps some of those failures?
yeah, so it is a fork of another project, and it was actually Lucky and Yanny's idea. So we knew of another project. We liked what it was doing, and we just thought it would be a great addition to our ecosystem to do something similar. And so we had Cyril fork that contract, but he went through the contract because he actually owns a company, KC Consulting, where he does audits of crypto projects. So he can look at the code, he can see any issues that it had, and he was able to actually resolve a couple of issues that the original code had. And also he tailored it to exactly what we wanted, you know, the supply and the tax, and he also made it so that it would sell often, that the threshold would be low enough it wouldn't affect the price, little things like that, just so that it would work as effectively as possible. And as far as team allocation, the treasury will hold 25% of the tokens, and those tokens will just be held. They won't be sold, and it'll provide the treasury with BNB, and we'll use that BNB to pump all 4 of our tokens. So it's just going to be going right back into the ecosystem.
And in terms of a whale coming in, you know, buying up, because I think you have to have, you know, you can have a maximum of X amount of tokens. Is that right? Before.
Yes, you have to have 1,000 tokens or more to receive rewards.
Okay, so what happens if a whale comes in and starts collecting a ton of those rewards? And maybe you go through periods of time where the volume is not quite as high. People that are sitting at the bottom of the food chain might begin to suffer, or at least have the perception that they're going to start to suffer. Have you done, or have you considered what you might do to stop that problem from occurring before it does?
Yes, yeah, that has been something that Lucky and Yanny have been thinking of from the get-go, is maintaining that volume, because you know, with a token like this, that is what you need, is volume. And so if someone were to buy up a ton of the tokens, it wouldn't negatively affect anyone, because the sales would be, you know, happening often enough that it wouldn't negatively affect the price very much at all, if practically insignificant. And as far as keeping the volume going, we're thinking we have outside revenue sources prepared. Like there's going to be a 4 token vault that Prisma has when they launch their V2 token. And that 4 token vault is going to be doing buys of 4 token on a monthly basis. It's going to be nothing but buy pressure for whoever puts their Prisma tokens in there. And also the treasury will be buying up 4 token with the BNB it's receiving. And like you said, long term, we're going to have a lot of money coming in from the Prisma One NFTs, and that money will also be used to pump 4 token. So there's going to be a lot of revenue coming into it that we're going to be bringing into it.
Now, before I go on to the next question, both Yanny Boy and Lucky, when are we going to get them on stage, man? I want to hear their voices. I haven't had an opportunity to speak to either of them. When do we get to hear their voices?
Well, Lucky is not doxxed. Yanni is. He's in the crowd right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can tell you, Yanni's a lot smarter than me. He could definitely give you guys much better explanations than I can. Um, you also would need to put earmuffs on any young children if he's up here. But he's super interesting. He's a very intelligent guy. And even better would be to have Cyril up here. But you know, I don't think we could afford to get him up here.
No, right, okay. Um, okay, I mean, you bring up an interesting point though when you say you can't afford to bring him up. You know, in terms of return on your investment for things like the consulting, for things like the media, that's going to be something people want to dial into. You've got a treasury that is going to be partially put out for that. How transparent are you, for example, with the expenditures you guys have, be it AMAs, these ones, be it consulting with Cyril, how much it might cost to get him to do a website? Is there somewhere where people can go and see how much it is that you're spending, or are you guys not at the stage yet where you think that that is going to be valuable for the community?
So we don't. Um, I know, like I've seen how Cyril does it with some of the things that he does, like he'll create a pie graph and all these things. We don't really have that. Um, it's Yeah, we haven't really done that yet. But if anybody wanted to know, we could provide the blockchain data. Um, I'm sure there are people in our community that pay attention to it and see where the funds are going. So that's something that we could definitely do at some point.
Great. And I think in terms of transparency, the bigger you guys get, the more money that you have throwing through your ecosystem. I think it's always going to be important that people can see where every penny is going, because of course, every penny counts. And especially in your early days when you are creating an ecosystem that is by and large dependent on a large amount of volume, they want to know how you're going to drive that volume. At the end of the day, it falls on your shoulders as team leads, as the people at the top. And then, you know, slightly underneath that, it falls on the shoulders of the people that are advising you to advise you in the right way and make sure we can get that volume coming through. So, you know, with that in mind, what are you guys going to be doing that's going to be kind of left field? Is there anything interesting that you have in mind, marketing wise, education wise, with your website, with adapt, for example, that you guys are going to start pulling out the bag to really get people interested in this token and buying it in droves?
So we are well, there's no, like, for token, there's no DApp or claiming or anything. You just hold the token and the rewards show up automatically. As far as getting the word out, it's just going to be a marketing campaign. Um, and we already do have 4token on our website. We had Cyril add that. He's the one who created our website, and updated it and all that. And then it's just it's a lot of community, just putting the word out there, and getting on Twitter and YouTube and the usual stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know. In time, I think, just doing the right thing, it kind of sets you apart. You know.
In terms of education, do you guys have anything planned there? Because I know part of your community, you have some YouTubers who are very strong in presence. They've grown in stature in terms of the amount of followers they have. They've done recordings for you guys. Is there scope to perhaps get them to do a regular segment that gives people an overview of the ecosystem? Because from the outside looking in, if you stumble across something like this, it can perhaps feel a bit daunting. There are 4 tokens, there are different ways to play it. There are X amount of different taxes here, there, and everywhere that feed into certain areas. How do you aim to simplify that so that people can perhaps go to one spot, understand it easy? Because it does say on the website, it's about time that crypto was easy, I think. And I'm paraphrasing. It's not verbatim, so don't quote me on that as getting it right. But something along the lines of, it's about time crypto or DeFi was made easy. So how do you guys plan to make it easy?
So I know Lucky has been talking about doing a whiteboard YouTube video, explaining everything. And then other than that, yeah, I don't know. We've just kind of been explaining it in Discord. I put out YouTube videos every now and then talking about it. We've got white papers for each token. But yeah, that's a good point. We should educate a little bit. I know that one point that we like to push, which is Lucky and Yanny's influences. We're trying to make people in crypto think a little more long term. So that's one point of education that we do push. But as far as like the actual tokenomics of each token, I would say the whiteboard YouTube video is something that we're going to be putting out probably soon. I know Lucky's been talking about that.
Right. Great. I mean, I'm already seeing that, some people are saying they use your server to vent, to educate people. And FYI, your community are very much keeping me on their toes by having conversations in different sections of the either community questions or hot seat channel. So I'm having to flick between the two. But it's education is a massive part of this space still at the moment, and I think it's vitally important. I certainly think it's an avenue that you guys should consider. Certainly, making sure that when you're going through also the website and all of the information in the white paper that's on there, just that it's easy to digest, but not so easy that people look at it and perhaps think, oh, well, actually, this is way too simple. There's got to be a little bit of meat to it that people can get stuck into, and that encourages people to jump into the Discord to ask questions. One of the things that's also vital is that you do put some thoughts and you provoke people to say, well, I need to find out more, or where do I go to find out more? In terms of how you've allocated your taxes and where they go, what was the conversation like surrounding how that would look? Who did you turn to say, how much of a percentage do we allocate to this? How much should we allocate to that? And how did you come to the percentages that you did in the end?
Well, we talk every day, me and Lucky and Yanny, and I mean, there are times when we will focus on just one specific token. Like we did a One Love competition, where all the taxes that we received that month, like from 2 and 3 token, just went to pumping 1 token. There was a competition that we did where we were trying to pump 3 token. So all the taxes from that month went to pumping 3 token. And then aside from that, Lucky is he's kind of in charge of that, and he just watches the tokens and kind of decides where the funds will go. And we're just always in communication every day. So if we decide that we want to give one token some specific attention, that month, or do a competition or something, then that's how we do it.
Right. And in terms of any treasury money that you guys do have, how does it look like? I see it's on a MultiSig. How many people on the MultiSig? What happens if something happens to one of you or 2 of you and it can't be signed off? What kind of contingencies do you have in place that your community can get behind in form of security?
If something were to happen to 2 of us, I don't know. I know we have Cyril as our 4th signer. So if something happens to one of us, Cyril can sign for us. And in the MultiSig, we have the treasury for 2 and 3 token. We have 2 and 3's liquidity in there, liquidity tokens in there. And then as far as the taxes, those go to a treasury wallet that Lucky controls, so he can use those taxes more quickly, so we don't have to sign off on those every time. I don't know. I would have to ask Cyril if something were to happen to 2 of us, if there would be any issue there. I don't actually know.
Always a good question to be asking people, because once you get to a stage where that you guys are managing a lot of funds, you want to ensure that you've got all your bases covered. I can see Cyril is waiting to jump up on stage, but I'm going to give you a little bit more time before I do invite him up. So for you, it's been a long journey. It's been an interesting journey. You didn't necessarily come from this space. You never anticipated, I remember from the last time we spoke, that you would have your own token. And you said at the time that there was a lot that you needed to learn. And I remember you and I having several conversations in the background, and some stuff came from it, and some stuff that you didn't think was valuable came from it also, which is perfectly fair. There must have been this massive learning curve for you since we last spoke. What do you think some of your takeaways have been from starting this journey?
Well, I would say that the biggest thing I learned is to have a good team. Because what anything I lack, Lucky and Yanni and Cyril make up for. So I'm I don't know. I have learned quite a few things over the past year, but I still lean on their intelligence and wisdom and on Cyril's technical know-how quite a lot. So yeah, I would just say if the biggest thing that I learned very quickly is if you have a good team, you're golden. And by good team, I mean, honest, integrity, like have integrity, and that you get along with, and you know those things. Like we're friends. Like we haven't met each other in person yet, but we fully do intend on doing that eventually. But we knew each other from the Seifu days, so we've known each other for like at least a couple of years now.
Right. I noticed this the last time you and I spoke, that you don't give yourself often enough credit, and you're quite coy when it comes to answering questions about you. So this time around, I decided if you did go down that path, I wasn't going to let you off quite so easy. We want to get to know a bit more about Oliver and hear you talk it through with us rather than just writing it in the Discord. So there must be some things that you can think on in terms of learning curves and lessons, not just about leaning on a good team. It's great you recognize you need good people behind you, and it's great that you've got people you say are fantastic for you that sit behind you. But there must be some other things, that be it community management, be it how you approach a conversation with another project, perhaps how you approach these AMAs, or even in your YouTube life, the cover that you now give the project. There must be something in all of that that you reflect and think, man, a year ago I was really green behind the ears, but now I find myself understanding this a lot quicker, and it's great for me.
I
No
don't
one's
know.
listening, just you and me.
Okay. Well, I learned how to use StreamYard finally. That was a pretty big
Okay,
deal.
right, there we go.
Um,
That's something.
that was wonderful. Yeah, I mean, because I was doing some horrible Discord AMAs for a long time there. Like the recordings were just they were not listenable. And I finally Greek thankfully taught me how to use StreamYard, and so that's been an absolute godsend. Um, and Let me see. As far as community management, honestly, I've always kind of had the same approach to community management. I guess I've learned to not worry about things because I was probably very anxious when I first started One Token, and it took up a lot of my brain space. And I was just thinking about it all the time, but anxiously. And I'm a lot more calm about it. And in the Discord, if you come into the One Token Discord, pretty much anything short of like profanity and vulgarity is fine. You can talk about anything you want, and we don't ban anybody. We don't censor anybody. If you like, if you're like a marketer and you show up in our Discord and you're just trying to market your service, obviously I'm going to tell you put that in the tickets, But like if you're an actual investor and you want to come in, our Discord is very free form, and I don't like to censor people. I get bored easily, so I just want it to be interesting in there. And so oftentimes I'll be starting conversations like in our off topic and talking about conspiracy theories and stuff, and sometimes talking about other projects, and so just whatever interests me. So yeah, if you join our Discord, you'll see me. I'm very active in there, and I'm
Great.
I'm not one of those founders that thinks very highly of themselves. So yeah, I talk to you like I would talk to anybody else, or
It sounds to me like you've learned to also let go a lot of that anxiety, which is great. You've learned to take this in the manner which it was intended, which is a collaborative community effort, a community token, and something that you're doing for people. And that has to come with a certain element of you being taking it serious, of course, but being, relaxed about it and not worrying or fretting about every small step along the way. Because the more you do worry and fret, the more likely you are to make the wrong decision in a crisis, and the more likely you are to freeze if you need to make a decision quickly. And of course, when people are at the head of a project, those are not the kind of reactions that you want them to have. No, one of the things that I always say about this space is it can't be truly taken seriously until we start thinking about it as a full-time position and we start treating it as such. And it's great to see Yanny has already jumped in to say we really want to treat this like a business, which is fantastic. And everybody should and can have side hustles. Have you earmarked a time frame by which you want to turn this from a side hustle into your full-time gig so that you guys as a team can really give it the dedication it might need to be able to elevate to the next step, especially when you start talking about the 1 token or 4 token or whatever it might be as a store of value in comparison to Bitcoin?
No, I haven't really thought about this. I mean, obviously, if it grows, I mean, the path that we have it on in 4 or 5 or 6 years, it will be so massive that yes, I won't need a regular day job anymore. I won't need to, work at my dad's farm or anything like that. I haven't really thought about working at this full time, but we definitely do, like Yanni said, we definitely do treat this like a business. And there are elements of like traditional finance that we're incorporating into it. So it's kind of, melding traditional finance and crypto. And so in that regard, it's taking like sort of a mature stance on DeFi, which a lot of DeFi is just, pump and dump, just crap. So, we're trying to change that thinking on DeFi. And yeah, like Yanni and Lucky are very business minded. Like I see how they negotiate because I sit in on negotiations that we have with other projects, and let me tell you, they're tough negotiators. So they definitely know the value that we bring, and if anybody wants to partner with us, they need to understand that we bring a lot of value, so they better bring a lot of value to us as well. And
Right.
it's yeah. I don't know if that answered your question, but
It does. It does. No, I mean, any answer you give is a perfectly fine answer. There, your answers. It's your stage. I'd like to see, and I'm looking forward to seeing some evolution from 1 token as well. Like I said, or already mentioned to you, perhaps a bit of a shifting on the website and seeing more of that educational element trickling through. Maybe a bit of a facelift here and there. Are these things that are on your horizon in terms of things to do? Do you guys have more planned? I mean, I'm sure there are some people that might joke, hey, listen, we're getting to 100 token or 1,000 token. Are there more tokens planned? Do you have other things in the future that you want to bring in? And if so, how many tokens high are we thinking?
I don't know. I don't think we have any more tokens planned. 4 token it wasn't anything that we had on our long-term plan. It was more just something we saw that would be a really, really good addition to the ecosystem. So I don't think we have anything else planned. But
No one's typing as yet, so I think you're probably right. Otherwise, I'm certain either Yanni or Cyril would have jumped in with something to say. Yes, we've absolutely got this plan.
yeah,
So not at the moment.
yeah, no, I know that that it in 1 year we've put out 4 tokens. So I know the jokes that can come from that, but if you look at like the long-term outlook and the things that we're doing, like we're this is not a joke. We're definitely taking this seriously and thinking, of ways to make this highly profitable and, outside revenue sources and things like that. So there is a long-term outlook and a long-term plan in all of this.
Yeah, I also didn't mean the jokes disparagingly. Actually, a lot of the time, good ideas can come from jokes. It can come from something as simple as someone having a bit of a laugh and jumping into a space and teasing, and you get a dialogue going, and suddenly, hey, presto, you've got a partnership on your hands, right? I mean, it's one of the reasons Cyril found you guys was actually just jumping into the space off the back of a conversation you're having here, and you guys
Yeah.
now have a great relationship. It's a year down the line, and he's helped you tremendously. So you never know what can come
Guys,
from it.
you guys were instrumental in that, because it was when I did my first AMA with you guys that I met Serenity, and Serenity invited me to do an AMA with him, and that's when I met Cyril, and Cyril became our like lead developer and has been just our unofficial fourth member of the team, although he hates me saying that.
Yeah, great. The reality is, he is. Whether he hates you saying it or not, I'll say it, and it doesn't matter if he hates me for it. He is the fourth unofficial member of the team. But it's a storyline that you guys should be screaming from the rooftops. You know, you guys are saying you're for the people, you're for the community. This is origins. This is where it all began. And I don't see enough of that personality coming through, truth be told. If there's an observation I can make, I'd love to see more of that coming through the Discord, the website, and just the overall feel, the character of one token and the character of all of the tokens, in fact. I'd love to see more of that and feel a bit more of it.
I got you. I know that one thing that Yanni works on me a lot about, and as you can tell, I'm still a work in progress, but Yanni is always trying to increase my confidence in a sense. And by that I mean, like, him and Lucky have total confidence in the plan that we have for these tokens, and like, there's a lot of projects out there that make mistakes because the founder or like the lead team does not have confidence in their project, and they start making really bad decisions. I can tell you our team has a lot of confidence in what we're doing, to the point, literally to the point that we don't feel the need to sell it very hard. But that being said, we definitely do want to get to a bigger audience. And we just feel that will come from the things that we're doing. One thing that I saw one time, and it left a mark on me. There was another project, and I won't name names, but the project lead, every time in the Discord that he was talking, he just was always just selling. That's all he did. Like, anytime he would talk, he was just selling people. And one of the people in the community just casually commented, they were like, "Hey man, can you like just not sound like a car salesman for once?" And that like left a mark on me. I was like, that is the last thing I want to do, is to sound like a car salesman. So I mean, obviously we're gonna market, we're gonna get the word out. But if you come into our Discord, I'm gonna talk to you like a normal person, because I value the people in our community. I want you to invest if you think it's gonna be a good investment for you. And we're gonna, like you were mentioning education, we're gonna try and educate people to see that it is. But yeah, I don't know.
Great.
We're working on the marketing part. We're getting there.
You know, the fact that you say you're a work in progress means you're malleable. Malleable means that you can learn and are willing to learn, and it also means that you're going to be able to pivot when you need to, and that's a strength the community can take from just that statement alone. So
Thank you.
talk us through 4Token one last time. Where can they buy it if they want to get hold of it? What does it mean for them? How much will it cost them to buy 1,000 tokens, and what does that also mean for them?
Okay. Goodness. You can get 1,000 tokens right now for $40 on PinkSale. It is on BSC. So it's a Binance token. And if you go on PinkSale, you don't pay taxes, and the price is only 4 cents per token. And I mentioned 1,000 tokens because that's the minimum amount that you need to receive rewards. And I have a feeling, and I'm not predicting when this will happen, but I just have a feeling that 1,000 tokens is going to become like out of reach for a lot of people, because the price is going to go up, and all of a sudden there's not going to be a lot of people that can afford that many tokens. So I'm just thinking, you know, you know, $40 will get you those 1,000 tokens right now. And, you know, after we launch and the price goes up, you know, people might be kicking themselves a little bit. There was a little bit of regret with the Prisma 1 NFTs that we put out, because we only sold 400 of those. And after they were sold out, and people started seeing the Prisma bot doing so well month after month, they started really regretting not buying those Prisma One NFTs when they were one BNB, back when BNB was only $200. Because now if you go on TofuNet or Tofu NFT, you'll see that the Prisma One NFTs, the cheapest one is selling for like 7 BNB now, and there's some that are selling for a lot more than that. And so there was a lot of FOMO or a lot of regret with the Prism One NFTs. I think there might be that same level of regret with 4 token. People don't take advantage of this pre-sale.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I know you commented in your latest video on 4 token is that the other tokens did fly when they were first launched. Those are facts. It's not financial advice. It's just me pointing out what actually happened. And, you know, they did obviously come back down and settle at a lower price, but they did initially pump quite hard. So, you know, you're absolutely right in that it could well be that the amount of money it would be to buy 1,000 tokens now is going to be far greater in the not too distant future.
Yeah,
when does
our
this,
tokens do tend to move.
you also have a hard cap that you guys are looking to reach. Do you know how far away you are from that, and when the PinkSale finishes?
I can't actually check it right now, but last I checked, it was 57 BNB out of 100. So the hard cap is 100 BNB.
Okay, great, 100 BNB. Well, I encourage everyone to jump into your Discord. I've had you now for just about an hour, so I'll start to wind it down a little bit. I encourage everyone to jump into the Discord, have a look around, ask some questions. You know, don't be afraid to ping some of the guys in the Discord, as he's already said. As you've said, Oliver, you're more than willing to answer any questions that people may have. You're more than willing to have conversations with. We've pinged the Discord in their community questions channel. I'll ask David to do that one last time. Do you have anything that you wanted to cover when it comes to your ecosystem and when it comes to for the GOAT token that I haven't covered yet?
The only thing that I left out is the liquidity pair. The tokens in the LP will not collect rewards. So hypothetically, let's say if there were 1 million 4 tokens in the LP, then only 3 million tokens would be getting rewards. And of those 3 million tokens that would be getting rewards, only holders that have 1,000 tokens or more would be getting rewards. So potentially the number of people getting rewards could be small. And so, you know, that could make those rewards that you're getting on a very regular basis on, I think it'll probably be like on a every 2 hours or so, there'll be rewards being sent out. It'll be based on volume a little bit, but the threshold is so low that it'll probably be pretty often. And potentially there won't be that many people getting rewards just because they either don't have 1,000 tokens. I mean, that'll be it if they don't have 1,000 tokens.
Great. Well, I hope you guys really start pushing out the marketing. I hope you can continue to go in the direction that you're going. I mean, we ourselves, for example, have a call channel here, and we have absolutely no control over what tokens are called by Oscar, who does the calls. And this is the kind of token that may well fall across his computer, and it might well pique his interest. So it's certainly something. Call channels are certainly something you should also look at. You know, kind of doing the rounds in, or perhaps filtering the information to, because you just don't know who's going to pick it up. And a token like this, a lot of the time, much of its success can be based on someone somewhere seeing it, liking the idea, having a massive following or a very influential group floating it in there, and you know, the next thing you know, it explodes. So you know, definitely start putting the feelers out as to those kind of unique avenues perhaps that you can approach to talk about 1, 2, 3, and 4 token. You never know what might happen, Oliver.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good idea.
Well, on that note, thank you so much. Apologies, Cyril, that I wasn't able to bring you up. I'm going to let Oliver go now because I know you're driving or probably still in your car waiting for me to stop or end the CEE so you can jump out. Thank you so much for coming in. You're going to have a channel in here now for a little bit. So anybody that has any questions from our community, jump into the 4 token channel that we have in here. These guys do most of it. They will jump, they will answer questions. We're going to get the recording out onto YouTube as soon as we can. And I wish you guys all the best. I really look forward to seeing how you guys develop even further.
Well, thank you very much, MadHatter. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Look forward to doing it again, my man. You take care. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. See ya.
Take care, everybody.